This video is for your taillight checking worksheet. So in the taillight, it's going to be, excuse me, it's kind of like the headlights. They're all a little different on how you're going to get them out of the car. Some taillight assemblies can be removed from the car. For example, this one here unbolts. There's 3 bolts in this case and it's all sealed. The assembly is sealed up here for weather and then bolted to the vehicle body. The nuts come out. This wire pigtail here will come through the metal and the whole assembly will come out. Then you can take the bulbs out. And that's fairly common. This is probably going to be the same way, so we have to look to open up the trunk lid and see how to access. It looks like 2 screws, and this will probably just pop off, and you do not have to take anything off in the interior. All these panels would be a real chore to get off. So they're usually pretty accessible. A couple of fasteners to hold them in place. And once you figure that out by looking at the vehicle, the one you selected, and you get the bulbs out, this one and this looks to be the same way. Generally there's 2, in this case it'll be 2 retainers of some way, and then these will pop in some kind of a pin that will just push into a removable socket. So it just takes a little bit of force. Do not use tools or wrenches where you're going to chip the paint. It's usually, you can do it with just your hands and leverage. Once you get these other retainers out of there, then the assembly will move and flex a little bit, and you can get a hold of it and kind of give it a quick pull and get it to pop out. It just takes a little bit of experience, and then you'll kind of get a feel for it. Once you get the bulbs out on this particular sheet, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to measure resistance, so we're going to get a chance to use the meter. In this case, this is a DVOM, digital volt ohm meter. You'll have to turn it on. Hopefully the battery's good. If not, we'll have to get a battery put in it for you. Go to the ohms setting. This is the symbol for ohms. And for light bulbs, they're very low, so they will be less than 200 ohms. So we'll go to this setting. You can go to higher settings for other items, but in this case, that's going to be adequate. And then, see if I can do this with one hand. So the bulb has 2 filaments inside of this particular one. This is a 3157. And you can see there's a taller filament, and then there's one that's a little bit below it. Those are going to burn at different times, whether it's a brake or running light. We want to check the resistance of those. So when you turn this on, that 1 that's on the meter right now indicates that it's excessive resistance. It doesn't actually mean the number 1. This is the way the meter tells you that. See the decimal points here and the ones over here, so they don't correlate. This says, hey, it's out of limits, there's too much to measure. You can put your leads together, and I would encourage you to do this on all meters, just to check and make sure the meter's working, that the leads are good. And that means we have 1.8 ohms of resistance just in the wires themselves. So we have built-in, everything has resistance. Everything has resistance in it. So these wires and the leads have that much resistance just in themselves. So we need to add that, or rather subtract that, from every reading we get, because they will be included in that reading. If we were measuring the light bulb resistance, which is the task that we're doing on this particular assignment, 1.8 is going to be above what the resistance of this bulb will be. So if the bulb is 1 ohm of resistance, it's going to show 2.8 on there, so don't forget that. On this bulb, you see there's 4 connectors here, 4 wires. The 2 on the inside are a pair, and the 2 on the outside are a pair. So when you take your wires, you're going to touch the outside, the outside 2 here, and in the inside 2, and see what your reading is. That's step 1. Step 2, we're going to take 2 of these jumper wires. We're going to connect them to this bulb in the same location that you just did for your resistance. Only we're going to connect the other end of those jumper wires to a power source, to a battery. And we're going to get this light to light up, and we want to see what the resistance is of the filament that was the brightest and what the resistance was of the filament that was the dimmest, and get those to match up. And I can't hold the phone and do all this, so I'm just talking you through it. So once you hook it up to with the meter, you'll do the same methodology with the jumper wires and the battery in order to get it to light up, so you can see which, the way that's connected is the brake lights and which would be the running lights. And I'll probably ask you some questions about how you hooked them up, which filament's the brake and which is the running. Is the brake brighter than the running, or is it the other way around? So I look forward to going over this with you. It's kind of a fun assignment, and hopefully this will help you kind of know what to do and make it go smoother. So I'll talk to you soon.